Okay, this is going to be limited somewhat because this unit has been replaced and this unit appears original to the structure. And I can collect data off of this unit, and the other unit, well, the data plate's faded. So I'm going to have to rely on some assumptions. And the first assumption is that this is the downstairs unit and this is the upstairs unit. Because usually that's just the way it usually happens, because the downstairs unit usually handles most of the load, and the downstairs unit does not. Excuse me, the upstairs unit does not. Now, starting downstairs, most manufacturers feel like this should not be closer to the wall. This needs to be box cut than 12 inches. And that's a little tight. I don't know if you can see this or not. I'm going to look. We do have some dirty coils. The coils are very dirty on this guy. So whether he's too close or not doesn't make up for the idea that it's coiled. The electric disconnects are not supposed to be behind the units. We could argue this one a little bit, I suppose. They're not supposed to be behind the units. They're also supposed to be sealed on their sides and tops. Now what it looks like inside. Hello. This one's got some fuses going on. So what do we know about this guy besides the coils are dirty? We know that him, this is both of them. And this one not so much. This one's close. But these pads are supposed to elevate the condensing units a minimum of 3 inches above grade. So it's too close to the ground. It's kind of tight to the wall. The disconnect's behind it. This is the data on this, 2016. About 4 years old. Okay. We also know that this is the newer refrigerant. This is the 410A. We also know that this is a 5-ton unit. These are things that we know. On the upstairs unit, we're left, because of the data plate, we're left to assume that this is original to the structure based on its appearance. Original to the structure is probably a SEER 10. This is probably a SEER, in fact this is a SEER 14 or better. 14 to 16, depending on what they installed inside. But on this one, we're going to assume this is probably about a SEER 10. We're going to assume that this is a 2 to 3 ton unit. We're going to assume that it's a R22 refrigerant, and it's original to the structure. So this equipment, all of this equipment, is engineered on paper to last 20 years. It might last 35, but the odds are your bookie's going to give you 14 years. After 14 years, we pretty much expect it to have done everything it was supposed to do. So that's what we got there. Also, while we're at it, downstairs first, I guess. Dirty coils. Anti-theft Schrader valve caps. Refrigerant service port caps. Look that up in the dictionary. But these are supposed to be anti-theft. When this unit was installed. This is the wrong kind of foam. This is the wrong kind of insulation on the refrigerant piping. It should be hard. And so that it doesn't do this like it's done it on the low pressure side. So it's the wrong kind of refrigerant foam. We do not have Schrader valve caps. The disconnect has not been sealed. Coils are dirty. This one, disconnect, I'm just going to say it's still behind it. It should be sealed. This is what the electric disconnect looks like. These coils, while they're not clean, they're not as dirty as the others, but they're dirty. Coming along,
We're missing refrigerant, and while we're not missing a Schrader valve cap, we're missing this cap that goes on there on the service port. We do not have anti-theft Schrader valve caps, and that foam that I'm talking about and the special caps that I'm talking about, those are safety and energy issues. So they're going to make the report. But when this unit was installed, those two features were not actually required. It was required to be sealed. It wasn't required to be cleaned. It was required to be covered. It was required to have a cap on it. All this is required. 3 sides. This one doesn't have fuses inside of it. What I want to talk about here for a moment. This thought I was through. I'm not through. I've got abandonment issues. Okay. While we're talking about this unit being newer is a 410A refrigerant system. This system, in all likelihood, is R10's CR10 system, inefficient. In all likelihood, the refrigerant in this system is R22. And I don't know that for a fact, and I might be able to determine that when I look at the indoor air handlers. So let's just assume for the moment that this is an R22 system. They no longer manufacture it in the United States. It's not legal to import it into the United States. Yes, there is a stockpile of R22, and yes, it is expensive. They also sell what they call drop-ins, alternative refrigerants. If a technician encourages you to put a drop-in refrigerant in here, know that they're 10 to 30% less efficient. This is already CR10. It's already inefficient. It's going to be even less efficient. It'll cool. And you're going to have to put him on payroll. Because most other technicians that come out, they're probably not going to want to follow him. They're going to see that little sticker on the side of it, and they're just going to roll their eyes. And they're just really not going to mess with it. They're not going to encourage you to work on this system. In fact, just taking the dropouts out, just that alternative, just in case, because I bring it up because people get desperate, and needlessly so a lot of times. Almost any technician that comes out here to service this is going to, rightfully so, encourage you to update it. It's just time. It's got the old R22. It's not good for the environment. It's not good for your bills. You're just going to be limping this thing along. Like I said, it might last 35. I had a unit last 35 years. I got the last 2 out of it. I bought into it old. But on the other hand, I had those skills. And if you don't have refrigeration skills and you can't install these systems, this is going to be an expensive event. You're buying into, what's likely to be an expensive venture here. With these units, I would never tell you how much something costs. But replacing this one and the indoor air handler, because you have to match them, you're looking at no less than $6,000 on an economy scale. And I hope you can get it for less, but you're probably going to pay it, more, quite a bit more. So I've talked about it enough. It's an R22 system, most likely, judging from all outward appearances. And it would be prudent, it's your home inspector's opinion, that it would be prudent to budget for replacement. The Texas Real Estate Commission, all they care about is it off or on? Is it performing the function for which it's intended, or is it in need of repair? So that's likely the pushback that you're going to get. But after the deal's been done, the sale is complete, you got the keys, you're going to be left with this unit. You're going to be left with this old dog.